Ani, bonsoir, and good evening to our regular council meeting. This is a very special meeting tonight because it is the last meeting of this current council, and so it's kind of bittersweet, but we'll get into that a little later on tonight. I'd like to call this meeting to order, and I would like to begin the meeting by acknowledging that we are in the traditional territory of the Anishinaabe peoples in the Robinson-Huron Treaty area and wish to recognize the neighboring community of Dokis First Nation. While we meet today, I would like to take a moment to acknowledge the importance of the lands which we each call home. We do this to reaffirm our commitment and responsibility in improving relationships between nations and to improving our own understanding of local Indigenous peoples and their culture. From coast to coast, we acknowledge the ancestral and unceded territory of all Inuit, Métis, and First Nations people that call this land home. And so with this, I need a mover and a seconder to adopt the agenda. Randy, Rick. All in favor? Thank you. Any disclosures of pecuniary interests? Seeing none, there are no delegations tonight. 6.1, there's no report. 6.2, there's no report. 6.3, Public Works and Environmental Services. We have a resolution before you to adopt a bylaw to authorize a winter road maintenance agreement for the private portion of Lafreniere Road, as we normally do every year. I need a mover and a seconder. Lafreniere, Rick.
Duly moved and seconded, be resolved that bylaw 2022-48, being a bylaw to authorize the winter road maintenance agreement with Trout Lake East Road Fund, be read a first, second, and third time and finally passed.
Thank you. All those in favor? Thank you. Sure, you can ask anything.
Question. I know they had come to us to make the road municipal. I guess they're still working on that.
Yes, I'm told there was a meeting last night, and because the costs have gone up substantially, that they're reviewing their options.
Oh, okay.
But it will remain a private, right?
So they have recirculated the petition because of the change in cost. So the petition is to be returned to the group by the 15th, and then so we should know more
After that.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. As we all know, the costs have gone up. Yeah. 6.3.2, we have a resolution to adopt the bylaw, again, to authorize winter road maintenance, and this time for Amateewakea River Road. Need a mover and a seconder? Rick and Bob.
It is duly moved and seconded, be it resolved that bylaw 2022-49, being a bylaw to authorize the winter road maintenance agreement with the Amateewakea River Road Association, be read a first, second, and third time and finally passed.
All in favor? Thank you. There is no recreation and community services report or emergency and protection services or building planning and development report, but we do have correspondence and the Sudbury East Planning Board. In your package, you will see that there are dates for the official plan to be presented in a public meeting. So that's for your information. And any questions regarding that? No? Okay. For French River, it's November 17th. So 7.2, Seniors Month 2023. There's a request in your package for financial support. I can speak to that. I don't know if you recall pre-COVID, in 2019, all the seniors group in the municipality got together and decided to honor a number of seniors that have been quite prominent in our municipality. They did this by serving lunch. Every senior had a free lunch. And as well, they had gifts for the seniors. There's a partnership with Univ, Edo Senior, Health Unit. It's a pretty big thing, and it's going to be held in June. But the group is starting to collect some monies to figure out what they're going to do with this event, which is scheduled for, I think it's June 7th in next year. So before you, I guess we're just, Mel, the way to do it is we can make a commitment to it, but it has to go back to the budget in 2023, correct? And the amount that we donated the last time was $1,000 towards their event. The event costs over $5,000 by the time everything is done. In 2019, there were 160 participants. We had members of parliament that attended. It was quite a very nice event for our seniors. Even the lunch was healthy because UNIV took care of that. So we had to not put too much salt in anything. So, but it still turned out okay. And it was a great event for the seniors. So we're looking for a donation of $1,000 for this event. So move, yeah. Second by Renee and Dave. Any questions, discussions?
Just read it. Duly moved and seconded, be resolved that council approves that a donation of $1,000 be committed in the 2023 budget towards the 2023 Seniors Month event.
Thank you. All those in favor? Thank you. Let's move on to the consent agenda. I need a resolution to adopt the items contained in the consent agenda. Moved by Randy, seconded by Dean. All those in favor? Thank you. There are no notice of motion tonight. And now we get to my part. So sit back and enjoy because it's long. Well, 17 pages long, but it's big print. For those of you in the audience, every year, I present a mayor's review, and I usually do it in December or January. But since this is our last meeting with this council, I thought it would be appropriate to do so today. When I prepared this review, I solicited council and our CAO and clerk's thoughts. And one suggestion was made by Councillor Millette that I should call it a term in review. It's going to be a combination of both, which is why it's so long. But the focus will be, thank you for the suggestion, Councillor Rick. But the focus will be on this past year and comments on the term will follow. So here we go. In January, we were still dealing with COVID and the Alban Community Center provided space for public vaccinations until mid-March. However, the effects of COVID continued to hound us through extraordinary delays in most, if not all, our projects and purchases. Our staff faced delays in receiving equipment and machinery, which halted many projects, such as the renovations to the ACC and the installation of equipment at our beach and park. What is even more glaring is the cost of contract labor, gas, and material, which skyrocketed. For instance, our roads improvement plan went from a budgeted $700,000 to more than $1 million. This has resulted in a budgetary increase of 38% in fuel, 22% in our insurance, 16% in hydro, and 22% in winter maintenance. It's sad when we think that $1.20 a liter for gas is a bargain. Our roads plan continues to move forward, and we were able to rehabilitate Gautier, Haas, Lees, Gilbert, Three Camp, Lake Claire, and Pilon roads through our capital budget. As well, repairs were done to Zion, Silvery Moon, Jean, Lang's Landing, Monette, and Heritage River roads. Many culverts were repaired as well as the cemetery parking lot in Alban. Public Works removed many giant hogweeds on our side of the roads and ditches. These plants are a dangerous invasive species that were found in the Alban area. Removal was not easy for our workers. The issue of waste management continues to be at the forefront. To reduce the contamination of recycling material, the Environmental Advisory Committee recommended that we implement a pilot project whereby curbside pickup for recycling material would be offered to over 800 residents living in mostly high populated areas. The project began in May, and to date, we have about a 40% participation rate. Though this may seem low to some, what is worth noting is that this 40% has a zero contamination rate. And for me, that's success. More work needs to be done to find ways to get people to participate in the pilot project. Many of our residents who are not part of the program are asking to be included. And if they can't be included, they would love to get their hands on our recycling boxes. I see in the horizon that their wish will likely come true sooner than later. Though we have implemented many good initiatives towards improving the transfer sites, there's still a high rate of abuse. Our bylaw officers continue to educate and find abusers, and there has been some improvement, but it's still not enough. Waste management is one of the highest budgetary expense and will become even more expensive if action is not taken soon. New government regulation, deterioration of the current bins, countless garbage truck breakages, and staff time to clean up the sites is forcing council to make dramatic but strategic changes. This must be dealt with urgency, and the new council will have some tough decisions to make soon. As the province reopened, what feels to almost normal was the delight of seeing so many projects take form over the spring and summer. It is obvious that the transformation of Joe Chartrand Park has not gone unnoticed. With the start of our Canada Day festivities, where hundreds of people came to enjoy the music, the crafters, the bouncy castles, and much more, to the Friday night concert series and the outstanding Helping Hands fundraiser, made the park come alive. I'm grateful not only to our Parks and Recreation staff, but to councillors Rick and Renee for making things happen. But I most definitely need to do a shout out to Chartrand Lumber for hosting the Helping Hands event that raised over $10,000 to build a much needed well. This was an enormous task to organize, and thanks to all the volunteers, it was simply unbelievable. Young and old were just delighted. Chartrand Lumber also provided the equipment and the labor to make a parking lot so that not everyone had to park on the highway. Their generosity and continued commitment to the park is humbling. The municipality used the funds from the sale of the municipal properties to purchase playground equipment, which will be installed in the spring. As well, thanks to a $20,000 donation from l'Alliance, the park will have a special section dedicated to autistic children. And let's not forget the $5,000 donation from Economic Partners for the concert series. A lot of amazing donors. We also saw the return of the family baseball tournament after a 2-year hiatus. The tournament hosted almost 100 teams and was organized by a committee led by the Maillet family. During the tournament, the municipality rendered homage to our first mayor, Claude Maillet, and presented the family with a bronze plaque that will be displayed at the arena. It should be noted that our arena has turned 50 years old this year. The beautification of this municipality continues to be noticed by our residents, from the flower pots to the pristine upkeeping of our cemeteries, parks, trails, and beach impresses and is appreciated by all. A huge thank you to our staff for making it happen. Our libraries are also back at offering in-person programming. For the first time in 2 years, summer programs delighted children, and the library also took advantage of the Joe Chartrand Park for several activities. They are undergoing a strategic planning exercise to map out its future direction. Consultations will take place in the new year. Members of our fire department were also kept busy this year with fires, accidents, and assisting other municipality and reserves. They were successful in adding 5 new recruits, which is incredible for our small community. As well, our firefighters took part in very intensive training through the Ontario Fire Marshal's Fire College's Mobile Live Fire Training Unit. We are grateful to our firefighters for keeping us safe. And by the way, I'm looking forward to the arrival of the new truck. I want pictures. Unfortunately, the food bank continues to thrive and grow. With the cost of living being so high and the price of food and fuel beyond reach, the food bank now serves 60 to 65 families per month. Thanks to the continuing funding from DSAB and private donors, it allows us to make sure that no one goes to bed hungry. Last month, we were able to offer a wide variety of food, including meat, to our clients, as the Hungry Bear Trading Post once again donated all their leftover food. Our clients were very appreciative. We are reestablishing our partnership with the Brit Community Food Bank, which is undergoing major changes. We will again work with Christmas baskets to ensure that all families in need in our municipality receive all the trimmings of the holiday. Throughout the year, we saw several bylaws being put in effect, such as our responsible animal ownership bylaw, which outlines processes for the protection of animals in our municipality. We also implemented the administrative municipal penalty bylaw that offers in-house complaint reviews and collection of fines. Also, it goes without saying that the implementation of the 4-day work week, giving our inside workers an opportunity to condense their 5 days into 4 in return for a 3-day weekend, has worked well for both the employees and the community. Council continues to work on many municipal projects and initiatives, and as well provide community support and assistance. Some include our yearly donations to the schools for their bursaries, upgrades to the VAA trail, and financial support for the Noelville Edible Forest Project, Earth Day activities hosted by our environmental committee, upgrades to the Wally Lamontagne Beach, the installation of the musical instruments, the reparation of the Cyril Monette Monument, hosting the Memorial Cup in our community, the adoption of the Community and Health and Wellbeing Plan, the creation of an outdoor rink in Noelville during the COVID facility shutdown, the highway decorative sign projects on highways 64, 535, and northbound 69. And I can go on and on. It's been a very remarkable, busy year. And this brings me to the term in review. Wasn't so bad, Rick, so far? When someone asks me to describe our council and the work that we do, I proudly say we have the dream team in our municipality. When you all came on board in 2018, 4 of you, Rick, Randy, Renee, and Dave, were new, younger, and a breath of fresh air. You offer such a different perspectives on how to manage a municipality. Then we were lucky to have Dean stay on for another term, as he's our institutional memory. With Councillor Garbutt leaving us, we were lucky to get Councillor Bob, who brought even more experience to council. I remember making only one promise during my 2018 campaign, and that was to bring this municipality back to the community. For me, what is amazing is that all 7 of you had the same goal, and I believe we achieved it. I also wanted to make sure that the work our staff performed is recognized and valued. As council, the work that we do could never happen without every staff member in this municipality. I know as councillors, you have all come to recognize, as I have, our staff's work. We've had to deal with many challenges, some that didn't make us popular. We debated policies, bylaws, finances, directions, financial directions, and much more. However, every decision we made was with only one thing in our mind, and that was for the betterment of our community, even if it didn't align with our personal beliefs or wants. That's the reason I consider all of you the French River Dream Team. I feel this council has been more transparent and accountable for all its decisions. Because of COVID, it forced us to use technology to conduct our meetings. Our ratepayers can now have access to every council meeting without leaving the comforts of their homes. More importantly, they can now choose to become informed of the ongoing issues, and that's a good thing. No one can say now, I didn't know. The new council members have big shoes to fill. We are entering an era of financial difficulties and expectations are high. Through the splendid work of our CAO and treasurer, and of course our clerk and directors, tax increases have been kept at a minimum, even though we flourished in projects. Hang on tight as we move forward. Now, I'd like to turn to the two councillors who are leaving us tonight. Just need to have a drink. It's water. I'll start with Ward 2 Councillor Rick Mallet. When you came on board, I thought of you as Mr. Finance. With your over 30 years in the financial field, you were such an asset at examining the municipality's budgets and making suggestions and or supporting our treasurer's recommendations. And that was comforting for me. I know when an RFP came to council for approval, you still couldn't get over the stark difference between the lowest bidder and the highest. And that sort of made me chuckle. As outgoing chair of the Economic Development Advisory Committee and the Sudbury East Chamber of Commerce representative, I want to highlight a couple of projects that I know meant a lot to you. The first was trying to get broadband services to French River. I know you had countless meetings with Susan Church from Blue Sky Economic Growth Corporation to get our proposals ready for government funding. You attended many delegation meetings with ministers and their aides, and I know you lobbied hard to get us included for funding. You were like a dog with a bone, never giving it up. I know you've made an impact, and I believe that high-speed internet services will come. The other project that comes to mind, though it's not your second, was the work with staff in getting the appropriate signage on our highways to let people know where French River was located. I still get numerous compliments regarding the beautiful signs going southbound on Highway 64. And as you leave today, thanks to the work of your committee and staff, signs will soon be erected going northbound on Highway 69 and on Highway 64 and 535. I remember our first budget meeting shortly after we were sworn in. One of the many questions Mac asked us was to give him our want list. I clearly remember you lobbying for the purchase of an appropriate sound system for Joe Chartrand Park, which led to what I believe was your second want or second wish, and that was the creation of an outdoor concert series highlighting many talents in our area. Though you were not an official member of the Recreation and Community Advisory Committee, you attended those meetings to ensure that your project saw the light. And you were successful not only at the committee level, but also with council. Dog with a bone. Thanks to COVID delays in getting the equipment and being completely shut down for 2 years, it slowed down its implementation. But this year, the municipality was able to offer a concert series, much to the delight of our citizens. Your persistence made this possible. With a few tweaks, I expect that the concert series will be even more successful in 2023 and beyond. Your dedication to this municipality is second to none. Shortly after our first mayor, Claude Payet, passed away, you were one of the first ones that came to me to find a way to honor his worship. Working with the Recreation and Community Advisory Committee, you were the municipality's point person with the Maillet family. In honoring Claude Maillet, you were the one to get the municipality to sponsor the first evening concert. And it was during this time we presented the bronze plaque to the family. I remember the look on the family's members' faces and as they admired the plaque and its dedication. It was an immense proud moment, not only for me, but I also saw your face, Rick. Finally, I want everyone to know just how hard you worked during the baseball tournament. Not only did you insist on sleeping in your car the first night because Albin was too far from Noelville, but Michel Maillet told me that you worked over 45 hours at the bar in 2.5 days. He also told me that the bar was only open 30 hours. So he's wondering what you were doing. So joking aside, I saw firsthand your nonstop running back and forth, not only at the bar, but also to ensure that the stage and the sound system were probably set up and so much more. Thank you, Councillor Rick Mallet, for serving not only the constituents of Ward 2 so vigorously, but the entire municipality. It was a privilege for me to work with you. Now turning to Ward 3 Councillor Randy Hazlett. When I first met Randy, he came to me as the outgoing councillor for Ward 3. And I knew at that moment that Randy would bring quite a unique perspective to our community and our council. In his first year as councillor, Randy single-handedly created the outdoor rink in Albin. He approached local businesses to donate wood, paint, and other materials to build the outdoor rink. With a few volunteers, but mostly on his own, he watered the rink and maintained it through the last 3 winters. I remember him telling me one evening after council that he was so happy that it was -30 outside. And I thought, who in their right mind enjoys -30 degrees? Randy did. As he said, it was perfect weather to water the rink. During COVID shutdowns, the rink provided a safe escape for young and old to enjoy the outdoors and to get some fresh air. And that's thanks to you. Randy was continually active as a councillor. In 2021, he was elected to the board of directors of the Association of Municipalities of Ontario, also known as AMO. This governing body is the provincial ear to the government. Though his stint didn't last as long as we both wish, it did open doors with individuals at the government level, and we continue to tap into those resources. Randy brought forward to our SEMA group the importance of having municipalities do their very best to accommodate disabled people. Having firsthand knowledge as a person with a disability, Randy was appointed to SEMA's first accessibility committee. During his term, he assisted the municipality of Marksday-Warren regarding accessibility issues that they were facing. As the chair of the environmental committee for 3 years, Randy quickly acknowledged the problems at our transfer sites, the landfill and our lagoons, and the need to make our municipality more environmentally friendly and cost-effective. I want to especially mention the work Randy does as a member of the French River Lions Club. Our Lions Club, though low in membership, continues to raise much needed funds for members in our community who find themselves struggling. For the past 2 years, Randy coordinated the seedling program for the Lions. This year, he raised over $3,500, and those funds will stay in our municipality. As well, all of us know about the Hearing Society's $20 house draw. That draw is also sponsored by the Lions, and every ticket sold by a French River Lion brings monies to our area. Last year, Randy broke all records for most tickets sold and volunteer time given to this fundraiser. Thanks to this hard work, the Lions have donated to our municipal food bank, the Christmas basket, school bursary, breakfast clubs, and much more. Working with the food bank and the Christmas basket, the Lions will be able to ensure that every child in need will receive at least one gift this Christmas. And it doesn't get much better than that. Finally, I want to speak about the work Randy did while on the Sudbury and District Public Health Board. As our SEMA representative, Randy quickly brought to our attention the outrageous 10% levy increase that public health wanted to impose on each municipality back in 2019. This does not sit well with any of us, and he worked hard to put a stop to it. In fact, it was Randy who told us that the decisions were being made by the Finance Committee, which the board simply rubber stamped all their decisions. We strategically got our heads together and decided to have Randy nominated and elected to the Finance Committee, which he did successfully. I have to say that during his term on the board, the only way to describe Randy was a lone wolf. He was relentless in trying to get members of the board to see how these increases were inappropriate and not needed. For 3 years, this lone wolf went from being the only person not falling for the public health officer's spell to having the support of a few members of the board. And for us, that was huge. Randy was also part of the lobbying efforts with the Minister of Health in the attempts to stop these outrageous increases. I can say that this issue is not going to go away, and the person replacing Randy will have big shoes to fill. Randy, thank you for everything you've done for Ward 3 and for us as a municipality. I know we haven't begun to see the last of you, and I look forward to collaborating with you as a volunteer. It's much appreciated, and I wish you the very best. Rick and Randy, I can't tell you how much this municipality appreciates the work you both have done for our, not only for your constituents, but for the entire municipality. We will miss you dearly. On behalf of the municipality, I would like to present to you a small token of appreciation for the magnificent work you did for us. Oh, they've appeared in the back. How do I know which is which? Oh.
Like Rick just mentioned, how did you get a Corvette and go back?
Oh, this big.
See you later.
You're welcome. Before I turn it over to Rick and Randy and other counselors, because this is the public portion of it, I want to take a moment to also recognize the amazing work of others in this room. I'm so glad that the four of you, Renee, Dave, Dean, and Bob, are coming back so that we can keep the momentum going. The work that all four of you did during the term was outstanding. I want to acknowledge and thank both Melanie and Mark for your continued guidance, support, and especially for the work you do for all of us. To the entire French River staff, you continue to be the hidden gems of our community, and our success is directly attributed to all of you. Know how much you are appreciated, and we are the envy of other municipalities. Finally, it's always a privilege for me to serve as your mayor. I am honored to work with and for you. Annie, merci, and thank you. So now I'm going to turn over to Councillor Rick to start. We'll go by numbers, 2, 3.
Well, thank you, Madam Mayor. I don't have 17 pages. I just have a little scratch pad of notes. So,
Haven't learned anything, right?
well, I can remember 4 years ago. 4 years went pretty fast. So when I decided to run, it was more of a something off. I had thought about this many years ago, as my wife can vouch. But when I decided to run for this ward, it was spur of the moment type thing. And then I said, oh, okay, I'm in it. So yeah, I think the experience was great. The campaign was great. Winning a race is fun. I can say that I really enjoyed the experience. It's something I'd never done before. A lot of people said, why don't you go run in Sudbury? I said, nah, not gonna happen. No, this was a great experience. I can't imagine doing this in Sudbury. But as a council, I think we functioned very well. We can't say that for Sudbury. We did projects together. I mean, you've mentioned a lot of them, but I mean, those are one of the things I think we can agree that we did the good thing is adding more money to roads and expediting the repairs on many of those in a shorter period of time, and I think that's a good thing. The Jules Chartrand Park, of course, as you said, that's something that I really enjoyed working on. And although the ACC hasn't been renovated yet, but that's a project in the works. I think those are all great projects that we can pat ourselves on the back and say, we achieved something. The next council will have some challenges, and you pointed some. I mean, one for sure will be the garbage and recycling. So I wish you all the best on this contentious issue, but it has to be tackled, and I agree that it's not going to be an easy task. Yeah, the internet project was something that I really held at heart. Having a lot of people having different internet providers in the area, others have better services than others. There's no consistency, especially in rural areas. So, using something like ExploreNet wasn't a great idea. Wasn't a great venue, I guess, or I can say. Now, in the last year or so, a lot of people are using the Elon Musk Starlink, so it's getting there. So, but I think not just us, but other small communities that have been pressing the provincial and federal MPs, MPPs as such I think we're going to see fruit, and hopefully that'll come in the next few years or so. But I think one of the things that I can say that I really enjoyed is working with staff. I mean, the council we had a great council, but working with staff. So Mel, Carly, Ruck, Bob, Mac Fleury, and the big boss also, Mac Gagnon, that's listening at home. So I really enjoyed it, and I thank council for that experience, and I'll be back to visit. Thank you.
For the baseball tournament next year.
Oh yes, I've actually been summoned on those dates already. So yep, yeah, voluntold, yes.
Thank you, Rick. Randy?
Well, I just want to say thanks to council. It's been a really wonderful experience. Didn't know what we were coming into 4 years ago. I think the previous council had some tumultuous times, of course, and people were looking for a more continuity in their council, and I believe that we brought that. As the mayor has outlined, we've accomplished quite a bit in our last term here. The last 4 years have been really wonderful. Just glad to have been able to have the opportunity to give back to the community in the way that we did. We did accomplish so much this time around. It's with a heavy heart that I'm leaving council. Obviously, didn't quite land the one I was hoping for in Sudbury, and really wish I was still sitting here next week. So I was actually out hunting for council positions. I reached out to the mayor of Horn-Payne, and apparently Serpent River was the only one open that was missing somebody, and I wasn't ready to move to Serpent River next week to join their council. So I'm certainly waiting for the next opportunity provincially to put my name back in the hat and run. If not, then in 4 years you'll see me here.
Thank you, Randy. Now I'll go to Council. You really want to go first? Okay, sure.
It's gonna be short. Thanks, Bob. We've done a lot in the last 4 years. I think we owe it to great leadership. We have a great mayor. You have found all the strengths in each individual here. You've worked with us individually to allow us to bloom in what we are all good at. And together we make a great team because we all have different strengths. And I think that's been amazing, actually. I've enjoyed working with every one of you and giving to the community. We all know that's my big thing. There's been a lot of projects that, staff may not have always been on board, but they always help me out. And, they may think I'm crazy when I want to plant flowers or trees or, do concert events with Rick. And that's where my heart is, more on the family community side, always been. And I've enjoyed working with all of you, and I hope to continue to do so for the next 4 years. And we have a lot of struggles, as many of you know, a lot of big projects. So, hopefully we did a lot of good things. Now all we have to do is keep them up and tackle the hard stuff, and we'll make it through. So on to you, Dave.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd like to thank Rick and Randy for their services. It was a very good 4 years with everybody. And I'm looking forward for the next 4 with the other 3 that are here and 2 that are over there. It should be another good 4 years. You.
I could echo certainly the words of the mayor about how well this council has functioned and worked this last 4 years. And my years on council, and that's more than I care to talk about, is it has been the best council ever. And we are able to achieve things without any rancor, without any real arguments or disputes. We seem to be able to come to consensus on most issues very quickly. And that's been a blessing, because that's the way you get things done too, when people work together. And we've been extremely fortunate with the quality of staff that we have, our senior staff and our working staff at the public works and so forth, all are just great. And that makes life so easy for being on council. When I decided that I would throw my hat in again at this kind of stupid age that I'm at, I thought to myself, well, if as long as we have the kind of CAO and clerk and senior staff that we have, it makes it so easy to be on council, really. And I know that people like Rick and Randy and Bob, everybody here has worked hard, and much harder than I have on this last 4 years, and they've accomplished a lot. But that's the role of counselors. And when you're only here a short time, you only have a short time to try to do it. So you better pitch in when you can. And I've really enjoyed the last 4 years, and as much as I can, I look forward to the next 4 to see what more we can accomplish. It's going to be more difficult, as the mayor has outlined. Finances alone are going to be a difficult thing as we look ahead now with what's happened to the value of the dollar, and how many more of them it takes to do anything. It's going to be difficult. At the same time, we've got a public that are hoping that this council is the next council that's going to be considering their purses too when it comes to deciding on the levels of taxation, because that's a big issue for a lot of our people. In any event, I'll just leave it with that in my almost 20 years, I think, on council, that this has been the best council I've ever worked with. And I appreciate every single one of you for the fact that we did things together without any arguing or rancor at all. We saw eye to eye on everything. Thank you.
Thank you. Bob?
Well, I'm very happy that Renee left some stuff for me, because she keeps teasing me all the time that, oh, you said what I wanted to say. I'd like to wish Randy and Rick all the best in your future endeavors. It was a pleasure for me to sit on this council with you two and the whole council. I'd also like to thank every one of you for giving me a chance 2 years ago to get my feet wet. And now, maybe in the next 2 weeks in the bush, I'll get my feet dry so we can get them wet again with the new council going forward. Madam Mayor, you used the words dream team, and I agree with you so much. But what makes a good dream team is a good leader. And by golly, you are it. I myself, and I know probably every one of you, when it came time to file nomination papers, people asked me, Bob, are you going to run for mayor? And my answer was probably the same as all of you. Why? We have the best leader possible now. So Giselle, you are an inspiration. You're caring, you have this municipality at heart, and it's beautiful to see, and it shows. To touch on something that Councillor Dean mentioned, in my last 2 years here with you, there is not once that I left a meeting here that I was frustrated. I was happy with what went on. I was happy with the results. Sometimes maybe I would have liked to gone left instead of right, but this council came to a consensus, and then we worked to get to that end. And that makes for a dream team. I'm gonna let everything else go. Roger, Willie, welcome aboard. I'm sure we're going to have a lot of tough decisions, but we will also have fun. I haven't found a Montreal Canadian fan yet to replace Rick, but
Let's
Oh.
check the standings. sir.
yeah. But thank you very much. And last night there was a meeting here with the Lafreniere Road roads people. After the meeting, the chair of that committee and secretary, we were talking, and they say what a pleasure it was to deal with the municipality, to deal with our CAO Mark, and to deal with our clerk Melanie. And they said they only had, I think they threw so many flowers that it was starting to hurt. But I told them, well, you have worked on this project for a few years, but on and off, small parts. Imagine how lucky I am and the council is to have a staff like this and backup staff that makes this council look good. So with that, I will be quiet and just thank everyone. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. Now I'll leave it with the staff if you wish to. Oh, Dave. No, he did already. Yeah. Geez, now you're starting to make me question my mind. No, no, I wouldn't forget my son, right? Leave it to staff. Mark's out there. Yeah, he may be sleeping. No? Well, not quite there. Not quite there.
Can you hear me?
Wake up.
Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Hello? No?
You sound muffled, Mark.
Okay, must be a problem with my mic.
Can you get closer to your microphone? Yeah, I know.
Can you hear me now? No?
Okay,
Sorry, having a hard time.
you're having a hard time. Oh, I hear the.
Can you hear me?
Well, I'm not sure if that's better or worse, but. Okay,
Sorry. I'll just make it quick and say,
Mark, you're too close to the microphone. Like, it sounds like you're swallowing the microphone.
okay, I'll turn back.
Okay,
Can you hear me now?
yeah, a little better, but still a bit too harsh.
It's funny that things not working. So anyways, congratulations on a successful 4 years. Rick and Randy, it's been a pleasure on behalf of staff to work with both of you. And thank you for challenging us on certain topics. But the one thing I'm going to say, cohesiveness between council and staff, we can achieve wonders. And I think that's been demonstrated over the last 4 years with this group. I look forward to working with the next members of council to achieve just as good things. So thank you. Hopefully I'm not too muffled and you got most of that, and I apologize for not being able to be there this evening.
Well, feel better, Mark, and thank you. Any comments for the staff on this? No? Any comments from members of the public? And, oh, Roger, well, get used to it.
First of all, I want to say thank you to everybody. It's true, it was a dream team, and the population of French River have basically said so. A lot of the comments that I've heard over the last 4 years have been positive compared to what it was before. And a few of the members of council have stood out and really had proved themselves in upgrading the facilities in French River. I think every one of you had their finger in the pie to make it a lot better. And that was one of the reasons I decided to run, because you guys seem to have so much fun. No, I know we're going to have challenges and big challenges coming up. And after Rick and Randy spoke, it sort of scared me a little bit, because there will be very hard challenges coming up. But I'm here, and I'm hoping for the challenges. I'm not a quitter, but it's not about me, it's about you guys. Basically, if I can speak for French River, I have to say thank you to every one of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Roger. There we go. All right. Okay, so we'll move on. There is no closed session. And so we're at this part where it's the adjournment. And yes, that was exactly why I thought that you and Randy can close out this, these last 4 years. Yep. So I need a resolution to adopt the confirmation bylaw, moved by Randy, seconded by Rick.
Duly moved and seconded, be resolved that bylaw 2022-50 being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of council of the municipality of French River at a meeting held on November 2nd, be read at first, second, and third time and finally passed.
All in favor? And I need a motion to adjourn. Rick and Randy. Vote against it. All those in favor. Thank you. So I invite people